2, 1. Joey,
Let's clap it up.
clap it up. Let's go.
For you, not for me.
No, man, for you.
You took this. I know you were trying to get this to the A tier, and today I can tell you officially you've taken it to the D tier.
Oh no, dude! No. Well, it is crazy because I swear we've had to cross paths. Because once I was looking into where you grew up and stuff, I was like, damn, we're the same age.
Typically, when I do home invasions, like I don't try to like.
You could wear a mask.
Yeah, so I'm not trying to be too friendly with the person I'm getting merchandise from.
But no, dude, it's crazy because we're the same age. We're from the same town. It was a much smaller town.
Yeah,
freaking 25 years ago. 20 years ago, when we were
25. Sorry to the audience, we're each 25, right?
Yeah.
Right, Sam?
We were in high school 20 years ago.
Don't tell me that.
But you went to Riverside. I went to Greenville High, so like not too far apart. But I'm curious, dude. Like when you were a kid, was like producing in comedy, was that like part of your?
No, not at all. In fact, I was like the most hardo sports guy.
Really?
Ever.
Like sports?
Oh, yeah. I was destined to go D1 at Clemson and play football.
Nice.
And so I was kind of like really going down that path, love sports. And my dad is one of 11. They grew up here. And without knowing it, like there's like 5 of the funniest people in the world in this family. So I think subconsciously he kind of like, I got shown all the funny movies as a kid.
Nice.
And eventually, there probably about junior year, I was like, I'm about 5'10", 6'2" in heels, and I don't know if I'm going D1 in football.
What was your position?
Well, growing up, I played running back.
Nice.
And I was a linebacker, and like, again, that was my whole life. And I remember one day I was in a class and they were talking about like athletes at the school or something. And I'm like, fucking me.
That's me, man. They're talking about me.
This one girl said to me, she's like, you're one of the funniest people I know. And I took that as an insult. I was like, I'm not funny.
I'm a meathead.
I'm jacked, bro. And oddly enough, that junior year, kind of when I realized I was not going D1, I started shooting skits with some classmates that year.
Cool.
During the summer, just as a joke. And it's the thing like you don't expect to happen. Like I'm focused on this thing when really this thing is where you're going.
Yeah.
So there was kind of the genesis of YouTube, you can probably remember, and MySpace.
Oh yeah.
So we started making skits, and classmates started to like them. And I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of fun. And we ended up making a DVD.
Oh, nice.
It was about 50 minutes of skits, probably 3 minutes of good ones. And we sold it on yearbook day.
Dang.
And we sold out. It was called Eton Productions presents Dropping Daylight, the worst title of a comedy thing. But it was yearbook day. And I remember I was going to the bathroom and I was walking by classes and I could hear classrooms watching the DVD laughing. And I was like,
dang.
And so at that point, I was like, all right, I think we're going to go down comedy.
Dang, so skits is what got you into it.
Absolutely. And growing up, classic, watched SNL, and I was the biggest Chappelle Show fan of all time. Like
legend, yeah.
I don't know if you remember back in the day when they had the Rick James skit.
Oh yeah.
Just the next day at school, everyone was like, I'm Rick James, bitch.
Hell yeah. Yeah, dude. I still do that. I still send memes of Rick James. So
got to. But like that day is kind of gone where like something will come out the night before that everybody is like, my wife or whatever.
Wow, you're right. Was that Borat?
That was Borat.
Yeah,
I switched films, dude.
No, I love Borat too. It was freaking hilarious. And it's interesting though, like you think of somebody as a comedian, you think they might have gotten into it as a kid, but like really, you switched past right there junior year. Did you feel like, for me, I would have been like embarrassed, like trying to make skits just because I would have been like uncomfortable and like, but were you comfortable in your skin? Like,
Yeah, because it was like I think I was kind of shy
I would have
too.
been nervous, shy. Yeah.
But that was like I realized people started to be like, "Hey, I like when you do that stuff." So I started to make more friends, and like it just felt like the world opened
Yeah.
up, and I was starting to figure out that hey, this is maybe who I am to people, and like
Nice. It's interesting. You said your family, big family. And you said like multiple funny people in your family.
yeah,
Um, is that one of the reasons maybe you thought you weren't funny because you were around such other, you see all these other funny people and you're like, damn, I'm not as funny as them, maybe. So
maybe. What now? I'm more ticked.
yeah,
I became like the solution to the problem. I was like, how are none of y'all doing comedy? Like no one stepped up to the plate
yeah,
and so I kind of felt like all right, it might have to be me,
nice.
and I don't even like even in my friend group I don't think I'm even close to the funniest person.
With the DVD, was it skits around school, like involving other students?
No, but we had well there was other students in it, my cousins were in it, and but no, not necessarily about
Got it.
school-based stuff. It was like our bastardized Chappelle show or whatever, we
Nice.
thought. uh And this summer, God, my cousin made me watch the DVD
For this past summer?
this past summer. And I was like, hey, this is fun. This is like a recollection down memory lane. Dude, I mean, again, it may have been like 50 minutes. I probably drank like 6 drinks in the 50 minutes because I was like, I was getting nervous watching myself. Like, I suck, bro.
Damn, I mean, I even hate listening to myself back on here sometimes. With you wanted to go to Clemson, but you end up going to South Carolina.
Oh, this is the ultimate betrayal, too. Like, literally there was a year of school at middle school I probably wore orange every day. Everyone knew me as like, oh, the Clemson guy, and they didn't offer film,
Oh.
and the only people that did in state were the rival South Carolina. So I had to like be a giant hypocrite,
Oh man.
and uh that was it.
Yeah, I was curious if so did you do any theater in high school?
Not really. I took a theater class my senior year.
Yeah.
I kind of always and this is also probably hypocritical, I didn't really love theater or like theater kids. I felt like they were
Yeah.
too like performative all the time,
Mm-hmm.
or like improv people being like, "Well, is this a banana or is it a telephone?" It's like, dude, shut up. We're at dinner. Shut up, dude. I think I also like the aspect of writing stuff I was
Mm-hmm.
performing in too.
Mm.
So also I hate musicals, so I did not want to be like, oh,
Yeah, maybe I can't sing worth a shit.
prove it right now. Prove it to me. Go ahead.
I can't. I need to be in this, like alone, listening to somebody I know from back in the day.
Selena Gomez. Yep. Everyone says you're a huge Selena Gomez.
All right, who would you sing if you could sing?
Unfortunately, I'm on this a Morgan Wallen cake.
Nice. All right.
That's very disappointing to everyone that knows me. That's well, growing up, I was a huge, and this is also disappointing. Was a huge Fall Out Boy fan.
Oh, nice.
And I ended up the video aspect allowed me to meet them one time because I won a video contest when they played at Clemson. So anyway,
when you were that age, were you more focused on writing or like being in front of the camera?
I think I like performing,
Mm-hmm.
but and this is kind of like you're funny. I would win like writing awards growing up, and again, I always wanted to be best athlete, and it's like best writer, Joey Thompson, and that was not cool to me. I was like, this sucks.
Yeah,
I suck at writing.
It's not cool.
Call that a haiku?
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. And throughout time, I was like, okay, accept this one too. Accept who you are.
Yeah, yeah. It is interesting because you see your skits and like y'all are. It's like a lot of times you're hilarious and like loud and like boisterous and you know what I mean. And I can kind of tell like that's not always your personality.
I think you got to be able to turn it off sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at like, I hate to say, but like Robin Williams or Chris Farley, I think when you're always on all the time,
Yeah,
it's probably I mean, seemingly leads to a darker life or whatever.
Your boy Joe from your podcast, he kind of reminded me of Chris Farley in some of the skits I watched.
It's crazy how I met him too. I was doing branded content for Spinks in town.
Oh, nice.
And he was working there and was like, hey, I'll help write, put me, we should do some skits together.
Mm-hmm.
And this was at like the peak of when I really started doing, I don't want to jump around too much. I'm jumping around.
No, we're good. We're good. We're good.
But he was like, yeah, put me in skits. And it was at the time where some of I was doing a character, Barry McGuthrie Jr., that was kind of taken off. And I was like, no, I'm not jeopardizing. And he kind of hung around and was funny. And then I put him in a skit and I was like, damn it, you might be funnier than I am.
With to get back on track, you go to Carolina.
Yes.
And you're in the journalism school?
I did media arts.
Oh, nice.
Which that's South Carolina entertainment right there. They can't even call it film. There's like media arts, because what the hell is that? And quickly got on campus and they had a TV station on campus.
Oh, nice.
And immediately I was like, hey, I want to do a skit TV show.
Cool.
And the programming at the time was sports journalism primarily.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm doing skits. So they let me shoot a pilot episode, and I was way too gung-ho, shot like I'm in freshman year at the time, and shoot like a 22-minute thing, just kill myself in between classes. During that time too, they also had a stand-up competition. I was like, I'm doing the stand-up competition. Dang. So it kind of coalesced that I finished the first episode, was able to go to the stand-up competition and announce, hey, because it was closed circuit TV. I was like, turn your campus TV to this station. But through that, I started meeting other comedians. Mm. And, it's weird to be in a competitive environment for comedy, but that was an opportunity I saw, like, hey, you should probably ask some of these people to be in skits with you. So started to build a kind of a community of the comedians, but just got burnt out quick. And then sophomore year is really where the game changed. I met this guy, his name's Fabio Frey. And Fabio, he had just transferred from Miami. And that was the first time in my life I met like an artist, like someone who just was the smartest, best at everything, and could kind of like inform my taste a little better.
Sure.
And essentially, I would say he kind of took over the show, or got us a lot more organized. If I was Seinfeld, he was Larry David, where it's like people know Seinfeld, but really maybe Larry David is the. And fun fact about Fabio, he ended up selling his first movie ever to HBO.
Really?
Down the line, but he and I worked together for 10 to 15 years.
Really? Dang.
Our junior year is really when it was good to have because it's rare you are going after entertainment or comedy, especially in South Carolina. But our junior year, we kind of locked in and ended up getting 2 skits on Tosh.0.
Really? Damn.
Which, that was weird because we were going to class, and then the next day we had better IMDb credits than our teachers. So,
and Tosh.0 was huge.
It was massive. At the time, too, the skit we had was just, it went from like 1,000 views to like 40,000 overnight, which is
a lot
in the YouTube days. So we really started to get confident, and then I don't want to keep waxing poetics about.
No, I want to hear it.
Our senior year, though, we ended up. That was really when we had a actual discussion. We're like, hey, I don't know how this goes. I want to do this for a living. You want to do this for a living. Let's just really give the senior year a run. And we started making this video called Rock Out with Your Gamecock Out.
Yeah, I know this one.
You know this one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Let's go. I love that song.
Oh, man. Well, it's a super long story. I'll speed through it because it's very, very terse time of our lives. So we took a break from comedy. It was initially going to be a comedy song, and where I played Steve Spurrier, essentially.
Nice.
It was actually like a remake of something I did earlier. Anyway, we start recording, and Fabio was like, you're not really a rapper. We're not really competing with Lonely Island on this one. What if we get actual like rappers from around Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
And he just proven how good he was so many times. And I was like, all right, yeah, we got a little window here. Let's go ahead and take this pretty serious. So I got into more of a producer mode and was tracking down rappers
Like
through
that.
and I'll just be dead ass with you. When I would call, I would code switch. I wasn't like, hi, I'm Joey from University. I'd be like, hi, bro.
Hey, man.
And truthfully, the response was better when I was not like, hey, bud.
I believe it.
And I started to actually get into like triangulate all of these different artists. Luckily for us too, we had the people from the comedy show kind of helping us produce and like, hey,
Nice.
we need a Rolls Royce.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
someone's like, my grandpa has one. And we're like, okay,
Perfect.
how did that happen? We recorded a demo of the song and it was not very good. And we actually wrangled in the biggest rapper in Colombia at the time to be on the song. His producer heard it and was like, this is bullshit. This sucks. And we had spent like a month or 2 months on the song alone. And we're like, what do we do now? He's like, you need to go to a studio. If you don't go to a studio, no. And I think he thought we were going to quit at the time. So we ended up calling the studio he recommended. And they ended up cutting a deal with us that they would produce it.
Dang. I mean, you don't know how many times I played that song.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it starts to get kind of stressful because like this is taking up all our time. Everything's coming together, but we're like, hey, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought we were comedians. And Fabio starts not going to class as much. He has to recreate the beat because technically it was not a beat we had the rights to. And we started to wrangle in the USC band to play some parts.
Nice.
But he would like listen to it and then he could recreate. It was not, for me, that was my first time in a music studio.
Mm-hmm.
And I was learning a lot. I was kind of like the odd man out. I was like, all right. So get going. I'm going around to the music school and I'm knocking on doors of practice rooms. And I'm like, hey, do you play trombone? Can you come to the studio? In the meantime, we're shooting the video concurrently on the weekends.
Yeah. I mean, the music videos. How many views does it have on YouTube?
Today, probably close to 500,000.
Yeah.
I would guess. But we didn't know that at the time. We were like, give us 10,000 views on this. Again, just a very terse production.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing some stuff that gets a little sketchy. We're lying to the faculty about some things because they thought we were performing in it.
Uh-huh.
And so we're getting like Ray Tanner, all the biggest Carolina people to be in the video. It takes like it. If you remember, this was the year that we ended up going to the SEC championship.
Yeah. I was about to say, it didn't hurt that the team was really good at the time.
So right around release time, we sent him the video and giving it our all. Weirdly enough, I got to MC the Cockfest. I think it's called
Really?
The Homecoming.
Oh, man.
The homecoming event I'm the MC for. And I'm like, hey, we're going to play this video. And if you remember at the end, they burned a Clemson flag.
Oh, yeah.
It was just lit. I was like, okay. Like people are clapping and cheering. They're like, buck. And I'm like, we did it. Turn it into the university. And oh, no, immediately no. Like we didn't know you were going to have these guys in the video.
You had George Rogers up in there.
We did. We had, they hated the Clemson flag burning though. And it was ironic because you remember they do the tiger burn before. So they erect a 40-foot tiger, set it on fire. They were like, there's a Clemson flag being burned that besmirches our reputation. So we don't know what to do. They start calling us every day. And like, I'm sitting in class getting like legit paranoid. I'm going to start getting plucked out. Like we legitimately thought we were going to get kicked out of school for a while. And they're calling all the time.
What were they saying? Like, you just went against like our rules. Like, we didn't have permission for this. Like,
So the initial call was like basically, yeah, we didn't know this was what it was going to be.
mm.
There's some of our representatives in this video.
Oh yeah.
You need to hold on to that video. And so Fabio was like, well, what do we need to remove?
Mm-hmm.
And it kept coming down to the coaches. And just terrifying time. So, but we started to get more specific. Like, okay, give us notes on like what we can do. And Fabio he was a very smart guy. He was just like, look, they're trying to get us to never release this thing.
Damn.
So what we can do now is we can take out all the stuff they don't want. But like people like George Rogers,
Mm-hmm.
he can be in the video. He agreed to be in the video. And they ended up beating Florida that weekend.
Okay.
Or one of the weekends, and won the SEC championship. And we were like, all right, this is it. If we do not release this thing now, we are in big trouble. Just so I legitimately think I'm senior year, I'm kicked out of school. I'm going to have to go figure this out. We drop it and then wake up the next day and like it's going just
crazy
off. And it was cool too because it's a song, so people are playing the song.
Definitely.
We went to it was a Troy game the next day.
Nice.
People were bumping it at tailgates.
I believe it's probably. I mean, we went to a game this last fall, and there's a bunch of my college buddies. I swear we played it on the ride down there, like 3 months ago, 4 months ago.
That's so sick. It's such a good feeling to think that like you were, because I really felt like I did something bad.
Yeah,
I mean, I felt bad about myself.
I could literally sing you your song.
Prove it right now.
Rock out. Hey, what's your game? Right? Something like that.
Yeah.
I remember your guy looking like Akon on the roof.
And
like that.
I actually met that guy at his name, Dontrell Burgess. Signature was his name. Met him at Carolina orientation when I went down to visit.
Really?
So we met freshman year. So this was a full circle event.
He legit was like Akon.
Yeah. He legit killed that shit. In the studio, he was just like doing runs and stuff. And I was like, damn.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
The true making it moment too was when we had rock out with the Gamecock Out shirts. And a police officer stopped us because we were going around the fairgrounds.
Mm.
And she's like, what is this? And we told her. She's like, my daughter loves that song. Can I get 2 of those? And so and then
that's so crazy because I never really like. I was all probably like, whoever the hell made this video is like a genius. Like it came out perfect timing. And like the team was so good, and we had like I remember DJ Swearinger and all those guys. I was like, man, this is just perfect. It kind of encaptured our team in a song.
We got very fortunate. That's probably the best years ever in Carolina sports.
We did. We got
baseball was jamming.
Yeah.
And I don't like that was one of those lightning in a bottle moments where I could attempt to recreate now, but unless like 900 things came together.
You had Ryan Brewer up in there, I think. Ryan Brewer is the man. So
well, he reached out after the video too. That was the other thing that made me feel good is people like him were reaching out after the video, like, dude, you don't know how excited my family and friends are. This is so good.
Nice.
The ultimate irony of all this, Fabio ended up failing out of classes because he just he was spending too much time. So our senior semester, he got into a business class where they needed you to write basically an entrepreneur plan.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of saw the video production coming together. Ironically, the university reached out to us and we're like, what now? And they're like, hey, do you want to be our official production team? We're doing this huge campaign.
Wow.
So they ended up hiring we ended up becoming an LLC because of Fabio's class and got hired. So I went from really being terrified about my life to, the first part of the last semester having a future. And I was like, what?
I mean, the university had to see the song come out and the popularity of it. Like,
That's, you know how it is. Like, they're gonna hate it till they see other people
Yeah.
don't hate it, and uh, then we started getting professional clients. So because of it, so we went from being the funny YouTube guys to these rapscallions who work with these ruffians, and then the face of the video
Yeah.
production for
Dang, that is so crazy. I never knew how that song was born. Did you after the song and after you graduate, what was your career path at that point? Did you think about you came back to Greenville, or did you know you wanted to go somewhere else?
Well, part of the other fortunate part was they were offering an incubator program.
Okay.
So for the entrepreneurs who could pitch an actual business, uh, they would give you free residency in a super nice, not sketch office by a bus station. Which for us, we were like,
you have an office space, yeah.
Any office. And they had some business mentors there who were actually pretty awesome. So we pitched them, but we already had like the plan together. We had proof of client. So off the rip, we just got hired and moved into this office space that was again pretty sketchy. We didn't care though. We were 22, 23 with an office,
like big time, dude.
And so the trajectory then became more. We would still do fun projects, but it really started getting more serious.
Mm-hmm.
We attracted people like United Way, and
nice.
We kind of learned the business side of things, like how to get a lawyer involved to write contracts. And I always felt secondary because Fabio's dad was an entrepreneur, so I was learning about life through him, and we became a business.
Yeah. Was that Dino Bright?
Dino Bright Productions, baby.
That's incredible, though. I mean, I guess that's kind of what it's wild. You think about that, but that's like the classes they're trying to set people up with, and like you worked out to the plan of what they, a class and a program can kind of jumpstart a career.
Truly kind of became like the models of you can do this. They would bring us into the media arts classes to talk and stuff like that, which it was on honor. Really though, we got good because all we did outside of class was went to that TV station. The majority of what we really learned was from doing it.
Yeah, and crazy work ethic. Like,
if I think about it now, yeah, probably. Like, and again, having someone like Fabio, that guy's just built different, my guy. It was always going to work out with him. And
where's Fabio live now?
He is living in Mississippi.
Okay.
There's so many long stories. I don't want to drag this out forever on you.
I want to get to, so from school, you're in Columbia for a few years.
Yeah.
Are you doing stand-up at this moment? Are you writing your own skits? What's your career trajectory of thinking eventually you end up in LA? Like, what are you doing here to try and further your comedy career?
At the time, not enough, really. Like, the business was starting to go, and we were kind of a little scared about the comedy taking away from the business. Should we rebrand? And eventually started shooting skits, but really, in one of our offices, we had a little VHS player, and we would play Happy Gilmore on breaks and stuff.
Nice.
And one day, I think something that's important in the creative process that maybe not enough people talk about is we were very deliberate of like, I want to do this. I want to do this. All right, well, how do we do this? We started asking the questions, and we reverse engineered Happy Gilmore on note cards. Scene by scene, we'd be like,
damn,
hey, character introduced, this is the plot point, this is where the twist happens. So without knowing it, we started learning the fundamentals of screenwriting. And we're like, well, let's just write a screenplay. And we ended up writing this screenplay about a decade ago, a super flamboyant male cheerleader who becomes the star quarterback of a super Christian Texas 5A football high school.
This needs to get made.
At the time, it was. It's probably
like Kenny Powers spinoff or something.
It turned out to be pretty. It was basically a Happy Gilmore ripoff where the kid could throw the ball.
Oh, nice.
Over the mountains type thing, and there was a bunch of like internal conflicts in the Texas town. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
can this guy be the face of the Texas 5A?
He's a cheerleader.
Yeah. So I'm sure if I read it now, I'd be like, can't say that.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
Yeah, throw Joey out.
We ended up recruiting our friends, this guy named Jake Zulanch, he'd worked on the TV show, just an amazing dialogue writer. And he would come up and down from Myrtle Beach on the weekends. And then we started shooting some skits.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to a point, I was doing stand-up again at the time too.
Oh, nice.
And everything kind of built to a head. And we decided, hey, it's LA or New York. Like, we have to go. We were making good money too, doing the production.
Yeah.
But we knew deep down, like, the people that we admired were doing one thing for a job, for a living, and only that thing.
Sure.
So we all three ended up moving to Los Angeles.
You, Fabio, and the other guy from Myrtle Beach?
Me, Fabio, Jake, our other buddy, Alex Grossi, found out we were going. He was like, I'm going to LA too with you guys. And we were like, hell yeah, we got a caravan. Our other buddy, Mark Phillips, he'd been in some media arts classes with me. And he was kind of like an independent shooter, shooting like big sports packages with like, I mean, he probably filmed LeBron at the time.
Damn.
He ended up working for the Lakers at one point, but he had just like incredible amount of gear there that we could use if we needed to shoot skits. So ended up getting to LA, and like within 3 months, we started writing another screenplay.
What happened to the Texas cheerleader?
So we had that. We wanted to get that made. We started writing another screenplay about these guys because Jake, his parents owned a coffee shop in Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
And we were like, what's that movie? Clerks, I guess. I think it was Clerks.
Okay.
An old indie movie. Basically about these guys who work at a coffee shop in a tourist town and hate their lives and wanted to do more. So we were doing that. In the meantime, one of our old clients from Dino Bright, we used to make videos for the Governor's School of Science. She knew a manager. So met this manager. I'm really starting to hit stand-up open mics at the time too. So we're just moving, and she has 2 screenplays from us. She's got a DVD of skits we had shot, and we get signed like in 3 months.
That's so crazy.
So we're like, yeah, like
I mean, it takes some people a year, like their whole life, they don't get signed.
Well, hold on now. We're thinking LA is easy as shit. We got 2 screenplays. We're making 2 movies. And she had a rock. She used to represent Margaret Cho.
Okay.
One of her clients was Kevin Avery, was currently writing on the John Oliver Show.
Got it. I know John Oliver. Yeah.
So we're kind of rubbing elbows. She actually took us to a Dave Chappelle secret show.
Damn.
She knows everybody. We're killing it. And I remember thinking like, man, I don't think we stack up to some of these clients she has. And I'm going on to an open mic one day, and I get a call that we're getting dropped right before I'm going on to be happy.
Oh my God. Did you bomb?
I can't even remember. And I was like, okay, welcome to LA for real.
Here we go. How long did it take from you getting signed to when you got dropped?
Probably about 3 months.
Yeah.
We're nobody to them. And at the time I was really big into character stand-up, and I had done the Southern character in Barry McGunfrey. Well, it was Barry the Direct TV guy as a joke on the Larry the Cable Guy. And if I say "and" again too, you can punch me in the winter. I gotta quit saying "and." Then
I haven't noticed it, so you notice it.
He's evolving. Realized that I was making fun of Larry the Cable Guy. Realized people didn't know I wasn't real, because I'd go on stage and be like, "Hey, how y'all doing?" Gave the character Barry McGunfrey Jr. as a full stage name. So I would go to open mics dressed as the character. To be clear, stand-ups hate actors and like character stuff.
Okay.
They think that shit is corny as fuck. So I signed up as and they didn't know. But a lot of the jokes were like, my wife, she's a bad driver, y'all. And I'd get them to do, how bad is she? And it ended up starting to go well. I expected the South to be seen as like this terrible bunch of racist
rednecks, country hillbillies. Yeah.
So, but they saw the Southern accent as kind of exotic, and much like you would see a British, like people out there are from Australia, English, and they're like, hey man, say something like that. And the majority of the mics too were kind of more alt comedy mics, what they call them. So it's a bunch of like artsy, like Silver Lake kids, and I'm up there probably similar to them, but I'm like, hey man, what's up with? And it starts going pretty good. So I'm like, I got this Barry McGuthrie Jr. character. We can do something with that. And I end up taking improv classes eventually it's called the Groundlings. I don't know have you ever heard of the Groundlings?
No, I haven't.
There's 2 schools in LA, UCB, Upright Citizens Brigade, and the Groundlings, which is like, Will Ferrell.
Nice.
And everybody you ever know went to one of those schools.
Got it.
So go there, and that's when I'm really like, I think I like acting more than I like acting at open mics where people don't know what the hell is going on. And really got serious about that. And Fabio and I were driving Uber at the time.
Okay.
We ended up doing this because we were doing side hustles. We really started to regret, like, why don't we have a video production company anymore? Yeah. We need to
bring Dino Break back now.
So we would our buddy Mark Phillips would get us on sets with, again, there would be legit sports shoots. So there'd be with like Magic Johnson and stuff. We were seeing how the actual entertainment world works. Fabio had this idea about, I think Ryan Gosling was on SNL, and they're like, they should do a skit that's like Drive, where he's an Uber driver. And I was like, yeah, they should. A couple years back too, I had made this.
I watched it this morning.
I hate that video.
You look like the how to look like a Ryan Gosling video.
Well, that one kind of like another example. Went to bed thinking this is silly, and then woke up the next day, and the Today Show is calling me.
Yeah.
Everybody in the world. We got flown out to Dallas to be on this show called The Kid Craddock in the Morning Show. I didn't think much about it. It was like the #1 radio show for mornings in all of America. And they brought me out there because the host, Kid Craddock, sat next to Khloe Kardashian at the games.
Wow.
And the Lakers were playing the Mavs, and Lamar Odom, I can't remember, was maybe he played for the Lakers at the time.
Lakers, yeah.
So they're like, here's the deal. You're going to come out here. You're going to sit next to us at the game. We're going to get Khloe to take a selfie with you. And we're going to say that Ryan Gosling was at the game. That the next day, you're going to come in the studio and break down. And
what went down?
What actually went down?
Did you do that?
So he flew us out. I was stupid at the time too. I was like, hey, can Fabio come? And he didn't know. He was like, yeah, whatever, kid. Fuck you. Like, that was my first Illuminati experience where we didn't know what was going on. The host owned Jerry Jones' old penthouse in downtown Dallas. We're staying in like a 5-star hotel. I'm feeling like, yeah, my life's starting, dude.
Yeah.
I kind of am like Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
He's showing us his garage too. There's I'm like Maseratis and Lambos and stuff. Like, we walked in this guy's apartment, and he had a picture of him and Justin Timberlake, him and Taylor Swift. And I'm like,
where am I?
What are we doing? So right before the game, find out that Khloe is not going to be at the game.
Because her and Lamar were probably married at the time.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And so his plan is shot, and now we're just 2 dickheads.
Free tickets and free rides.
He also had brought a Victoria's Secret supermodel with him as his guest.
Wow.
Again, we go from Columbia, South Carolina to sitting courtside at the Mavs game. He knew Mark Cuban too, so Mark Cuban came over and talked to us. And they ended up getting us on the Jumbotron. Oh, a Jumbotron. I looked over at one point and I saw T.O., whose book I had as a kid.
Damn.
And I was like, and he was like, just insane. So the next day, the plan didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, "Hey, how about you just come on the show and talk about who you are?" And then brought Fabio on the show too, and then invited us to stay and write. He did a bunch of radio shows, so he had us write some jokes for his next show, and kind of served as a mentor figure. This was back to we were doing um, the serious video production, and we were telling him kind of what we were trying to do. He's like, "So you're doing videos for Dartmouth and stuff?" And we were like, "Yeah." He goes, "Why?" And we were like, "I don't fucking know, because it pays the bills." He's like, "No, go to LA, get out." Fast forward back to current day. Again, I'm sorry if I'm talking in a million.
No, you're good.
Million circles here. Fabio talked about the Drive 2 video, and I really had an inkling to want to act at the time. And I think he thought of me more as a director or producer. And he's like, "Yeah, we could do that." And I was like, "I'm going to do this video. I want you to direct the video, please." And let's use this as a piece too, because I knew it would have legs.
Yeah.
If we did it right. The whole point was to make it look like a fake trailer for a real movie, or a real trailer for a fake movie, however you want to do it.
Vice versa, yeah.
I started recruiting a bunch of people I'd met through stand-up and the Groundlings classes to come in and act. And a lot of those people were like legit actors. They're very, very good at acting. So I was learning a lot. So we started shooting this over the weekends, and we were channeling actual Uber stories, because so many bad things happen when you.
Oh yeah.
It's one of the dark times of my life driving Uber.
I believe it. In the beginning days of Uber too.
Terrible.
What year is this? This is like 2017, 16?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
We had met another friend too. I don't know, we had just had a knack for meeting the right people at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Named Pedro Correa, who was in.
I love how your friends are Pedro and Fabio.
It's the most LA shit of all time. He ends up helping us edit it, and we're just on really getting it together. And we're actually having good actors in it, and like people that are recognizable. We channeled our network to the max. Our buddy Mark Phillips had the best gear in the world. We're shooting it. I ended up getting a drive jacket from my buddy Connor, and it's just full bore. We get it done, and we're like, okay, this is going to do something. It's going to go somewhere. We stayed up all night.
Yeah.
It probably took a couple, even months, maybe, to like get it to where it needed to be. Stayed up all night, dropped it, and nothing. And I'm delirious. Fabio and Pedro had spent the night. We're just hauling. So I start sending it around to people. And another buddy named Frank Ponce, who I met at USC, gets it on Reddit. And we start to see some movement.
Yeah.
The day goes on. Then I start getting texts like, "Hey, man, you're on the front page of Reddit."
Damn.
I don't really comprehend what that means.
Yeah.
"Hey, man, you're on the front page of Reddit." "Hey, man, BuzzFeed just put out an article about you." So in a delirium state, I'm like, ah! I start screaming.
Nice.
We're sprinting around the house, high-fiving.
Hell yeah.
Everybody's getting pretty drunk pretty quick. So we're back, baby.
Yeah.
We're back.
We're killing it.
We started a video production company in LA now. We're doing comedy. People are reaching out. Funny or Die, College Humor. Just the biggest rush you could ever, the biggest adrenaline dump. Because you know how it is. If you put that much time into something and it does not go somewhere.
Devastated. But on the flip side, like that adrenaline, that dopamine is probably crazy.
We started having meetings with people to do like sketch TV shows, like pilots. We ended up raising money to do a short film on this other stand-up character I did. It was like an LA guy named Davey Slater. Which that was a lot of like, bro, like, yeah, like this chick was like, "Can you do a 720?" I was like, "Nah, I can do a 69 though." Again, I would show up to open mics as that character. I had like a wig and stuff. Would
Yeah.
not talk to. Literally just sit in the corner by myself, and they'd be like, "Davey Slater," and I would go up, and I was a hardo about that kind of like,
Nice.
do not kill, and it would go well. Ended up raising money for the short film. There's a lot of like, I feel like too many steps along this process.
Dude, I mean, honestly, I mean, this is all good stuff. Like, you think about your career and what I know from you is like, but all this stuff goes into your career. It's crazy.
Well, we were writing it. Pedro lived in a pool house of this voiceover actor.
Only in LA, dude.
Only in LA.
Crazy.
This guy's name is Richard Green. He was the magician in Mulholland Drive by David Lynch. So he'd always tell us about Mulholland Drive stories. So we were writing it. It was called X Bros, about two brothers who essentially find out they're not biological brothers.
Okay.
And Pedro was Davey's ex-bro, Feather, the male model. And Pedro was like a true thespian. He was like more serious, and we're writing, rehearsing, raising money to shoot the short film. And we're just like going off, shooting around. We shot a lot in Malibu State Park, around essentially where the fires happen now. And Marina Del Rey, get it done. It's just like, we're doing it though. We shot a short film. The problem is we shoot a 25-minute short film, which is not a short film. It's not a pilot. It's not that great. And it takes like a year of us editing. We run out of money, and going back to doing odd jobs, just the most terrible fucking time of my life.
Damn.
Fabi and I really start, getting at each other, just because we're spending up to 12 hours a day in this house. I had a girlfriend at the time too, who was like, "Are you going to be done at 10 p.m. again?" "Yeah." "What are you doing tomorrow?" "I'm working until 10 p.m. again."
Be up at 8 and in bed at 10.
It's ruining our lives. And by the time we get it done, we kind of knew it probably was not going to go to where we wanted it to go, which was very disheartening. And what I really learned from that was the Drive thing was great because it's a parody of popular media.
Yeah.
But to have an original character like Borat or Austin Powers, it takes some building on the back end to have that be something people want ahead of time. So Davey Slater probably was not something. It was also the first instance of me being like pretty vulgar. And so the people that knew me were like, dude, there was people that were pretty vocal about being disappointed
in your actions and your...
Yeah, and that sucked too.
Yeah, I'm sure. When did people were getting canceled for shit around that time too, I'm thinking.
Not yet. But we kind of moved to LA during probably around the Me Too movement era.
Yeah.
So it was like the worst time.
It's hard for comedy then, dude.
To be a straight white dude in LA, we picked the wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong.
I mean, it's gotten better, but like there for a few years, I feel like comedians could not say anything, or like could make funny movies or funny shows or funny skits without probably fear of getting canceled.
That's something that when the TikTok era came out, that Joe Hamrick and I kind of sensed, hey, people get in trouble.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's go for it right now. And that was just kind of his personality.
Nice.
And I was like, hell yeah, let's because inherently we knew the stuff was funny. It was just the taste to change.
Sure.
But
not really though. It's just the people, like, it was still funny.
People were just more vocal.
Yeah.
But we were like, fuck it. Like, come get us. What's going to happen? We've pushed the envelope a lot of times where it's like, well, okay, what is going to happen?
Yeah.
And you find out that, people do like funny stuff. And now, like, I don't even know if cancel culture is real anymore. Now it's like, let's push the envelope. And I'm like, no, we pushed it first.
I want to get back to your move to Greenville. Because again, like in LA, all the industries, freaking, you know, TV, movies, comedy, whatever it is, producing all those different things came to a screeching halt when COVID came. I know you're in LA at this moment. Like, what are you trying to do? And when do you decide, hey, I'm picking up and driving to Greenville?
Well, the X Bros experience taught me, like, do not ever spend that amount of time on something that goes nowhere. And I really kind of contemplated, like, building notable characters that people were familiar with. So the next time you go out to make a movie or something, they might be like, "Oh, I know that character. Hell yeah, let's like build the fan base." So at the end of X Bros, Fabio and Pedro were going to shoot a dramatic feature film, and I was like, "You guys are gonna kill it. I know you are. I'm gonna go do skit skin. That's just where my heart's always been at."
Yeah.
And I wanted to be able to put out clips that I could put out in a day and not spend a year in a dark room fighting with my best friend.
And people say content is like most important, which putting out more stuff almost sometimes.
There's a whole debate right now about content versus art, and but went back to visit my family in about 2018 and was shooting content now and revisited the Barry McGuntry Jr. Southern character. And I was like, what if he's just from Gur, man? What if he's from Gur?
Gur.
Like, let's not make this complicated. What if his hometown is here? So I shoot this video, getting rowdy in Gur. It's just me with an iPhone running around and just having a great time. It's my brother came out, my cousin came out and talking about the family.
Yeah,
they're very funny, and I just start having fun again. I hadn't had fun in a long time, and I'm like, dude, this is like whooping ass, bro. And I needed something to really kick my career back up, or I was dead in the water because I was just auditioning and doing stuff I didn't want to be doing. I'm going back to LA, and I have this hard drive, and it was like another magical time of life where I was like, I don't know, but I do know whatever's on here is going to change my life. I could just feel it. I was like, this is it. Do not. I was walking around the Atlanta airport with my backpack, like, do not lose this fucking hard drive at all. Got back to LA, and my buddy Pedro, very good editor, starts helping me piece through it. Fabio gives me some notes. People start giving me notes. I'm driving DoorDash now at the time.
Damn.
I'm driving DoorDash. I am booking acting commercial roles. I'm just like dying.
Yeah.
Got it done.
You're grinding though. That's crazy.
I woke up at 4 a.m. to put like finishing touches on it and put it out. I said, all right. Because sometimes you get really obsessive over numbers. I was like, just put it out. Went and did a DoorDash shift. During that shift, before I even knew, I got casted in a UPS store commercial. So I was like, okay, there's some good momentum. My brother calls me. He's like, hey, dude, have you seen this video? I was like, what? He's like, it got like 400,000 views already. Oh, brother, another moment in my life. I fucking just cut that DoorDash shift right there. Like, fuck this shit. I'm done. I was delivering it to some Hollywood high rise. I'm like, nah.
I'm out.
Go home. Classic fashion. Screaming, run around, start drinking way too much, getting buck. And then I'm like, all right, we are going to go back home and we're going to shoot Barry in Greenville. We're going to shoot him in Columbia. I get to relive my whole childhood basically and talk about these places. It was,
and you already knew him, yeah. Classic
example. Stick to what you knew, what you know. And I knew South Carolina. I was like, hell yeah, I get to go. And my roommate was Jake, who was screenwriting with us. He and I just start writing this stuff out, get a plan together, formulate the Greenville video, come back home like a month later, shoot the Greenville video. And oh, brother, get it done and just on site. I've never, probably ever, you just push upload. Dude, the thing was, this is really when Facebook videos were taking off too. Just exploded on site. I just watched like numbers. And I'm like, at my parents' house now.
Yeah.
Ah, screaming. These are monumentous occasions
Yeah,
for
it's crazy.
because I'm like I'm risking it all
Yeah.
to, and then we start ripping out. Well, the next day I wake up to a message from Spinks asking if we could do some branded content together,
Nice.
and I started to see a model open up. Long story short, I'm doing Barry videos, but going back and forth from LA.
Yep.
And 2020 hits, and I was already shit or get off the pot with LA. Like, what are you doing here? COVID hit, and I'm like, I'm out. We're going back to South Carolina right now, and we're going to start ripping out as much content as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So I trek across. This is right probably when COVID started. I would probably be very frowned upon my actions currently, but the roads are. I remember going past the Grand Canyon very apocalyptically and just seeing a sign that says Grand Canyon National Park closed. I'm like, dude,
Damn.
Grand Canyon is closed.
Closed.
I made it across America, I think, for like $350 at the time.
Damn, that's so crazy.
And that's probably about all the money, truly probably about close to all the money I had at the time. I had called my dad ahead of time, like, I'm 30 at the time, like, Mommy and Daddy, can I come live at home for a little bit?
With so you met Sean though out there, Sean Herman.
I met Sean Russell Herman out in LA. We had been shooting some skits together.
Nice.
Really enjoyed my time working with him. I just knew that I needed to get back to South Carolina and continue this brand that, you know.
Yeah.
So it sucked, but I had the gut feeling I'm going to see Sean again.
Yeah. No, yeah. And I mean, he ends up moving back, or moves to the East Coast, but then ends up in Greenville.
He comes back at the time to TikTok is really booming. I'm working with Joe Hamrick a lot, and we're starting to find massive success on TikTok. Everything's taken off. Every time a video would break 1 million views, my mom would buy me a bottle of champagne. So at my parents' house, just popping champagne bottles like a loser, run around screaming. My whole career felt like it got rejuvenated.
Yeah,
I'm seeing.
You're in your hometown, man, and I feel like nowadays you don't have to be in LA or in New York. Like you can be in other parts of the country or the world and have success as a comedian or as a producer, or like I feel like growing up, I felt like you had to be in LA or you had to be in New York.
Absolutely, and that was kind of like I had subconsciously manifested like it would be really cool to do what I love where I love.
Yeah.
And not have to be driving DoorDash and dumb shit.
Yeah, definitely.
And TikTok really started opening that, and then we started doing more characters. So some of the other characters, so I'm like, oh, cool. I can also be seen as not just Barry McGuthrie Jr. all the time.
And that, you mean you have like, I don't know how many characters, but you got 10, 20 characters.
I have undiagnosed schizophrenia, what I think most people would call it.
When you're writing a character, is it just an idea from something you see like on the street or like something in your history and you just like, dang, that might be really funny?
I kind of reflected on this. I think a lot of characters I do stem from seeing people that annoy the fuck out of me.
I love that.
Like
your Asheville and Subaru guy, the Asheville lady and the Subaru man.
I feel bad saying that, but it's like people that
I'm with you. I'm with you.
So you could either be mean and just roast it, or I guess what people consider I do is called satire. You become the persona and show the foolishness of it by acting it out. And yeah, like I not a huge fan of super annoying rednecks. So I was like, got married. We do the male Karen characters, which I hate. Like really, hey, tough guy, like Hardo's gym.
Like
teacher.
you in sophomore year of high school.
Hey, cool it. Rules is rules. I don't like, and from growing up around here, like a bunch of the fratty chads who are just like so entitled. Yeah. It starts there. The Sean and I started to do, so Sean was in town.
Yeah. That's the video I saw, like I first remember seeing you in was the City Planners.
Well, that was something. Sean was, he was here. We had not work together adequately, and it was entirely my fault. And he was like, "Hey, man, I'm going to Wilmington." And if I think
Okay.
about it, there's a lot of like magic moments in my life where it's going to be this or that. And when you do something is when something happens.
Hmm.
But if you sit around and do nothing, and he was like, "Hey, I'm going to Wilmington," and I was like, "Hey, man, this sucks. I wish we would have done more together. Let's try to shoot something before you go." And I think we kind of in that moment were like, "Shit, some magic's going to happen."
Nice.
And we kind of talked about, because people talk about Greenville or Columbia
Yeah,
as up and coming cities.
definitely.
And I always had a fascination with journalistic people who were very like well spoken and positive about like local, like, "Oh, this is super neat. You got to come check out the pig farm down at the state fair." They're just so peppy about like, "Oh, they're selling blinds 2 for 1 at Chris's Rugs down here." So we kind of started like developing, what if we were just these
Yeah.
two.
And it was hilarious because it's so true. That's what people said about Greenville at the time. Like, talk about the bridge or the new restaurants or the downtown or the main street.
That's what I'm talking about. If you can just pep up the most mundane things, this is super neat. And he and I don't think we really fully knew what each other were going to do. And so he did a really good job at just like, "Hey, you can't say that." Like being this kind of the straight guy to it. And the foil will be like, "No." And it was just magic.
Yeah.
Another moment too, he was in an apartment, he had to move. So we're editing this thing like a beast.
Hmm.
Just another moment where I'm like, if we do this right, something
Yeah.
magic's gonna happen. And we released it, and
It was getting shared all over the place.
just another me probably getting drunk.
Champagne bottle.
He and I went downtown, and we were just actually taking
Nice.
selfies on the bridge to
Oh,
commemorate.
nice.
And we were like, "Yeah." And so he was like, "I don't know if I can move right now." And I was like, "I don't know if you can move." We get hit up by a production company in Manitoba, Canada, to come shoot potentially a pilot in Canada
Hmm.
about the up and coming city guys.
Nice.
So we're taking Zoom calls with them, and they're really like, "Hey, can you come to Manitoba?" And I just moved back home. All my dreams are coming true. And I was like, "Fuck, I'm not going to Manitoba."
Canada.
Never said that. Never said that. But I'm looking at the weather, and it's like negative 27
I'm
there.
out.
Sean grew up playing hockey. He's like, "Yeah, let's go." So Canada ended up going into second lockdown at the time,
Mm.
and they just quit. Like that got shelved. So he and I started shooting more skits with Joe.
Hmm.
We have the opportunity. We ended up shooting an up and coming pilot, which is a whole other story.
Yeah.
It was another X-Bros situation where it took way too long, way too much time. I'm like, I want to get back to making quick.
Yeah. Nowadays, when you make a skit, how long do you think it takes you from like filming the skit to releasing some of the content?
The one thing that people probably don't consider, or when they're asking me about videos, that just the length it takes to edit these things.
Hmm.
And when we're shooting a lot too, there's always a script. You have to
Yeah.
have like a banger script. If the script's not banging, you
Yeah,
might be
sure.
wasting your time. But when you get out there, if somebody wants to go off on a tangent, you have to let them go, because then that's where, and that's part of the thing I like, whether it's Sean, Joe, Megan, Kayla from Asheville.
Hmm.
I like duos because there's always a point to a counterpoint. It's the Step Brothers thing. Are you guys
Hmm.
on the same team trying to defeat Derek? Are you guys sworn enemies? Are you Nighthawk and whoever? You always have a balance, and it just, I think, if you look at some of the great comedy movies too, there's always a duo.
Hmm.
So I benefit from collaborating with just really good actors who are also super funny people.
Yeah,
And if somebody wants to go off, you have to let them be like,
sure.
"That's not how the script was, but that's pretty damn fun." If everybody laughs around you, it's probably funny.
With you mentioned maybe at the beginning of recording or maybe before, but you think there's only a few like excellent comedians in the world. Who are some of the guys that you look up to in that world? And maybe it could be stand up, it could be skits, you know.
And I think stand up is the hardest like art form.
Mm-hmm.
I would say stand up's like UFC, right?
It's hard.
It's you versus, and if you suck, guess what, brother? It's your fault. You suck.
Yeah, true.
Whereas videos are more like improv or basketball, where it's like we got a team. Like the stakes are so low because if you say something stupid, nobody cares. Stand up, I feel like there's not that many great stand up
Mm-hmm.
comedians. Dave Chappelle was always one growing up that
Yeah,
he just didn't miss. Bill Burr, he just does,
he's great too. Yeah.
and he just has those moments where it's like he's known for pushing it, and then he says something, then he can. The good comedians can say the craziest thing and then backpedal their way out, and then get you to agree
Mm-hmm.
with them. Where they're like, ah. Unfortunately, Louis C.K. had one of the greatest runs of all time.
I mean, he's still one of the best, I think. Yeah. Me Too movement got him, but for a little bit.
He got himself on that one. He Daniel Tosh. I love Daniel Tosh.
Yeah, yeah.
Mark Norman too. I don't know if you listen to Mark
I know
Norman.
Mark. Yeah.
He does a great example of what I'm saying, where it's like he'll say the thing, people be like, oh God.
Who's the
Shane Gillis?
Oh, Shane's great. Who's the older guy down in Austin right now? Long hair. God, he's hilarious.
I'm trying to think.
He's got to be like 70 years old.
If I saw him, I would know.
Yeah, he would. Mark Norman's great, like you said. Shane Gillis, crazy. Another one got canceled. Now he's back hosting SNL.
I mean, what kind of lesson is that? It's basically like definitely get canceled. It's even like I was talking about with Morgan Wallen. Like,
yeah,
definitely get canceled because then you have a career. You almost want to get canceled.
What are you working on now? You have some upcoming characters, or I know you do some stand up. I don't know how much you currently try to get up there and get stand up time or whatnot, but
right now the videos have kind of built to a point that again, kind of stay your lane type thing. I'm like, I really like videos and film. I've always wanted to do TV and film, ultimately. And so that's where it was heading there, but media has changed so much that, like, you'll be watching a movie with your wife and it's like, what are you watching?
Yeah, it's crazy. I used to watch movies all the time.
And now people are watching movies with a TikTok while watching a TV show on the other phone.
Yeah, it's bad.
So I'm not sure that I'm going to leave social media. The Hometown Couple last year was kind of another
that was great
rejuvenator, and another
you did some Clemson stuff in that one.
Well, classic example. Stick to what you know, and bringing in outside forces that just always seems to be, if I bring in a collaborator and you put them in the right place at the right time. When I collaborate with people, I'm always like, what is the natural essence of this who is this person in real life? And don't get them to stray too far away from that, because they'll kill it if they get to be themselves on camera. And Megan was really the one too who was like, she does makeup, so she's like, I'm gonna paint raccoon eyes on you.
That's how my wife knew her, I think.
She's a fantastic makeup artist.
Yeah, okay. I love the idea of you making characters off of people that annoy the hell out of you. That makes perfect sense.
I mean, yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of stuff I'm like, dude, what the fuck is that guy doing?
I know.
Why are you acting that way?
That's what everybody else is thinking, and then you can just turn it into a character.
You take on. I have learned, this is so like heady, but from the acting part of it, like I'll go in wanting to make fun of somebody, and then by the end I get into the psychology of like, oh, like Hometown Couple. These two are trapped in a loveless marriage, maybe that they don't want to be in, and they're both looking for enjoyment in their lives, but they're so inundated. Or a Chad character, he's been given everything and he has no actual friends, and really the characters are sad. Like a lot of the characters probably have some sort of form of sadness they're fighting, or something in them that's not actualized that they're hoping for.
Are you writing anything right now, like screenplays or anything like that?
There is a screenplay for the male Karen characters we did that that is probably the funniest thing I've ever been a part of. Joe and I wrote it,
Yeah.
and our goal was just, he'd never written a screenplay, so we were like, let's just write the funniest movie we could ever write.
Mm-hmm.
And it ended up being like 100 pages too long.
Damn.
Yeah, Dan is right. And so what I'm really understanding, though, even though I yearn to do film, you really have to have a huge team to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We could shoot an indie thing that would take, with our current manpower, would take a year or two to complete.
Damn.
And that's why I really idolize Danny McBride, because that guy went, from being funny, but that's where I like him, is I feel like I have similar sensibilities. He always seemed like he liked film. He wasn't per se a stand-up
Mm-hmm.
comedian. And
yeah, I listened to him on Theo Von recently, and his career is fascinating.
Another example of a guy who was, his two best friends are two amazing directors and writers, and they went from just being goofy independent guys to now like hundreds of millions of dollars maybe on HBO. But I think they were all just filmmakers who stuck to that. So I want to go there, but for now I'm ripping out. There's more Hometown Couple.
Nice.
We shot a video with Kayla from the Asheville Girl about the couple that raises your rent. So we're two assholes from California and Austin who moved to Greenville, essentially.
The up and coming city.
The up and coming city to take advantage of the real estate. But again, another situation where they're probably in a loveless, not even a marriage, open relationship. And I don't know. Greenville too has just been the greatest backdrop for the videos.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I'm not a big green screen guy. I'm like, let's take the viewer into the audience, or into what they know. And that always benefits me, because people don't per se show Greenville on film, like in an entertainment way. It's not like a tourism video or something.
Certainly.
It's like, it's Portlandia, but guess what? We're in Greenville.
Yeah. And Greenville. You know everywhere to go.
And I also know, because there's such a niche local audience, if I'm doing good or not. Because people will let me know. Well,
the thing is too, like in Greenville, I do think we embrace like local content, like things about our community. Like if it's making fun of it or not, it's, we embrace it in a sense, and we share it with our friends. So
I would say that I'm most honored about doing niche content about Greenville. In order for it to grow, the people from that place have to support it.
Mm-hmm.
So to know off the rip I was supported by the hometown where I wanted to be, man.
That's all you need to know.
Pretty sick.
Well, Joey, thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure. And your stories, wow, dude. We could talk for like another hour probably about...
I don't know if any of them are good. It's a lot of crazy.
I'm still stuck on your Mavericks game with the Lakers and the Illuminati with the Kardashians and shit.
I'll send you a picture of I got a selfie with Mark Cuban at the time.
All right. For people listening, where they can find your content: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Well, I run 4 different pages, and they're all on every platform you said. Joey Thompson Comedy is me. We have at Barry McGunther Jr. We have at the Male Karens, and then I produce all the content for at Joe Hamrick Comedy.
Nice.
Who he actually has blown up bigger than all of us. Not even close.
I need to follow him then. I just saw him in your videos, like the car dealership videos and stuff like that.
His videos are, again, embrace the character, and he just goes off. It's Trailer Park Boys adjacent, so not for the faint of heart, but he went from 40,000 followers last summer to like 360,000 followers
on Instagram.
On Instagram,
you have close to 500,000 on TikTok.
There's too much stuff to keep up with. Too much stuff.
Well, Joey, thank you for coming on. It's been great meeting you, even though we might have crossed paths in our history. But
I have robbed you before.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Great job.